Hello everybody, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I got a video today I think you're going to find real interesting. And what we're going to talk about is looking at the evidence and trying to solve multiple murders connected with this home, and the underground homes that multiple people have said were here. I was told there were 4 of them. And so I'm standing in the room that I was ambushed and shot in with my phone lines cut on January 28, 2012. But I had been reporting repeated burglaries to my home prior to that. Even 14 months before that, I reported my first burglary. And then a year before that, I reported my first time with reporting somebody in the attic. Okay, remember, and then I was reporting burglar alarms going off the attic when I shot. And now I've documented homes all over the country reporting people in the attic with a dozen addresses just here in Midland, another dozen in Odessa. Okay, absolutely no doubt about it. As you can see, this is a tiny little room. This is my utility room, and what I believe is that cabinet right there, one that looked just like it. I tore the original out, but I believe that was set up for an underground trapdoor entrance to this house. The ex-wife had already told me there was a trapdoor in this house. I just didn't know where it was. But interesting story. In this room one day, this little tiny room, she asked me, she says, "What's different about this room?" You know, what a weird question, right? In this room. And I'm trying to tell this and that, but you know, I didn't have the answer. The answer is this cabinet right here is rigged, and that was a hidden entrance. And what happened was, on the day of the murder attempt, I know now, I didn't know then, I had trapped a burglar in my guest bathroom. Okay, I've been reporting burglaries. That's a felony. Okay, and you know, they've committed thousands of felonies here. But I had tie-wired my door shut to recognize somebody's in my home, tie-wired my spare door shut, trying to figure out where this trap door was at. And trapped a burglar in that bathroom. And so you know, it looks like that could have been the motive for murder. You know, that's when they decided they were going to kill me instead of turning themselves in and going to prison for burglary of habitation, because that's a felony. That's what I'm saying. You know, that's what I've been saying. Okay. And so burglar alarms going off in the attic. Here I'm going through my house with a gun, and I have the right to protect my life and my property. This is my home. I'm home minding my own business. These killers came to my home with guns. You know, let's make that real clear. I'm home minding my own business. They went out of their way to kill me in my home. You know, and I was shot by somebody underneath that cabinet as I walked by with my phone lines cut. Okay, and so I'm going to show you the evidence I found proving that a burglar was trapped. Hold on. Okay, on the day of the murder attempt, I come in from the front door, and I recognized somebody had been in my house once again. As I said, I've been reporting to the police repeated burglaries to my home. Okay, and so I get this idea to tie wire my spare door shut, and I'm going to show you this. So straight ahead is the guest bathroom and the hallway. That's where I'm at right here. Okay, so I tie wired this door to that door. That's a bedroom. To that door, that's a closet. To that door, which is another bedroom. Okay, so all these doors with tie wire, I tie wired shut. What I didn't know is I trapped a burglar in this room right here, and I believe they were back there behind there, back in the toilet area, and I didn't know that. Okay, remember, I recognized, and when I got home from the hospital 10 days later, what I found at the top of the door jamb was these pry marks that told me that somebody was trapped in this room trying to pry their way out of it. Actually, and also the hinge was torn from the wall. Okay, and so what I knew was that if the police had showed up, all they had to do was untie the tie wire or cut the tie wire, and it's fine. They don't have to bust the door open. You know, there was no explanation for the hinge being torn off the wall and these pry marks, other than there was a burglar trapped in this room before the murder attempt. Okay, and keep in mind, I'm on the other side of the door with a gun, and so they had the option to call the police and have themselves arrested and go to prison for 10 years for burglary of habitation. But if they did that, then it would reveal the underground homes, the tunnels, the murder of the last homeowner, the murder of the little girl at the old show party, all the other homes that are rigged where people are reporting in the attic. You can see how come they didn't want to do that, why they chose to murder me instead of turning themselves in. And so really what would happen was this murder attempt, this premeditated murder attempt where they cut my phone lines, was done during the commission of a felony. And the felony was the burglary of a habitation, because a burglar was in this home. I've been reporting these burglaries. The irony of this whole thing is it's now proven police were under my home. Police had entered from that trapdoor entrance because Dickie was inside my home at 11:05, wasn't seen arriving. That's how we know they were under my home. Davis, Dickie, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale. And so here police are under my home, police that I had been reporting burglaries to, and I'm shot during a burglary. Do you see the irony of that? I mean, that's what's going on. The police were working with the criminals committing the crimes, and I'm the crime victim reporting crimes to police, and they're the ones that are committing the crimes. That's what really was going on. But this wasn't one home, there's 4 homes. We're going to check that out.
How the buildings underground that he was talking about, it was not 1 million, it was actually 4, and they're actually homes.
That are underground?
3-bedroom, yes, they're 3-bedroom homes.
Well, I'm sitting right on top of it too. You know, that's the other side of it. You know, I'm trying to think when you talk about,
yes,
you know,
you live near a draw, right?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, it is pretty close to a draw.
He even knew things like this. I'm like, this is too crazy. This is too much.
I did a Facebook post recently called Bunkers. And it was something that I noticed that was brought up in court by the district attorney and even my attorney. They used that term bunkers, and they used it like 4 different times. Well, I had never even thought of bunkers, and I had never used the word bunker or even said bunkers.
Yeah.
But they're sitting there calling it bunkers, and which I'm thinking they already knew what it was. You know what I mean? That these are bunkers.
Precisely.
And that's why they 3 underground.
4.
Oh, 4 underground
4
houses or whatever. And
yes, where's each at? They're all in total $4 million.
$4 million, and see, that's what the first.
I asked him about the pizza parties. They said they're not called pizza parties, but I know what you're talking about.
Right, the pedophile parties.
Yes.
And see, a couple weeks, you probably read all this before, but a couple weeks after I got out of the hospital, that ex-wife comes by my home and she says, "You don't know how many lives you ruined with your idiocy." And of course, my idiocy was staying home and minding my own business. You know, I'm shot inside my home. And but what she was saying was a lot of people were here, and they're going to have their lives ruined. And
do you know about how many feet that gun pushed through? How much ground it was? Because he said that these houses are 25 feet under.
Okay, this is the backyard of my house. This is where it looks like on Google Maps where one of the 4 underground homes is located, straight ahead in this area. Right here is one of the homes. And when I first moved in here, I had a brick mortar problem. And it was what that is, I'm going to show you here. I'll show you here, it's a little bit better. The mortar in between the bricks had come out all over the entire house, okay? And I had a contractor, and he told me, he said, that's a foundation problem. And so what that told me is when they dug under the house settled, and it broke the mortar joints, okay? So I believe the mortar problem was connected to digging under the house, and that's a clue to finding the 4 underground homes. Also, on the other side of that fence right here, where that yellow pipe is, right there, you can see the blue. That's a water tank for a water well. There's a water well right there, okay? And I think that might be a clue to finding the 4 underground homes as a nearby water well and the brick mortar problems. I'm in the alley behind my house at 3802 Fair Circle, Midland, Texas. To the right side here, behind that fence, is where it looks like the underground home is located when you look at Google Maps. and one of the 4 underground homes in my backyard. Okay, and I want to show you something here on this telephone pole that is right here. Okay, and we're going to get a little closer to it. Is I want to call attention. You see that coaxial cable here, right there? Okay, that's a TV cable going into the ground, and nobody can tell me where it goes. Okay, actually, there's a whole story about that. It's a sudden link cable, and I contacted Home Depot, and they said it wasn't their store. Home Depot's to the left side on the other side of that wall, and then I knew it didn't go to the houses because the houses are fed from above ground. And so I was posting about that on Facebook, and I think it was in 2014, and Suddenlink shows up with a disconnect notice for that service. And I believe that service right there actually went to the underground home in the backyard right here. Okay, and where the oil show parties were at, and where that little girl was murdered at in 2010, my friend told me about. The other thing I want to show you here, get a little closer. See that open pipe right there and nothing's in it? I wondered if it's not a ventilation pipe, you know. I want to go on down to another home where I've suspected maybe another one of the 4 underground homes is based on 2 things. One, there's a nearby water well, and it had the same mortar problem my home went. This home here is going to be on Fairgreen Court, right across from the Fairmont Park Church of Christ, right down the alley. We're going to go there now. Okay, this telephone pole is real close to that home, and once again you see a pipe that's open right there. I wonder if that's a ventilation pipe. On the other side of that fence is the Fairmont Park Church of Christ. Okay, this is the home on Fairgreen Court we're looking at, and I'm going to show you that black box right there is the water well I was talking about, and that's the home that was re-bricked, you know, because it had the same mortar problem my home did. And then the backyard here, it looks like the fence was redone right there on that section in the maps, you know. And this is one of the homes I wondered where there wasn't an underground home at. It's right next to the Fairmont Park Church Cross. Remember, the law enforcement officer sent me a picture and told me to go snoop around this church for clues in the crimes and murders connected with the underground homes. I'm parked here. I wanted to show you that. This is the home on Westmont Court and Whittle Way that has this empty lot in it, and I want to show you. This is one of the ones I think maybe there's an underground home there. See, under that box is a water well, and then in that home had been whitewashed because it had the same brick mortar problem that my home had, and it's about half block away from my home. Remember, Rhonda Denman Rogers said it's a half block away. This is my cul-de-sac right here. It's a fair circle right here, so I'll just turn in there and I'm home.